Here we are, we're all together, and the topic for today is BÜM parties, also known as good parties. For you old schoolers, PBRs. Let's see, if you remember PBRs, put in the chat what it stands for.
Yeah, and we're not talking about past blue ribbon beer.
We are certainly not talking about that. What is P? Kim, you were not supposed to do it.
Oh, my bad.
Andy Varela says, dang, that was my guess, MK.
That was his guess. All right, cool. We have it there. And Ed Peterson, I know you got that, Ed Peterson. That's right. Yep, you're an OG. All right, everybody. Private business reception. Okay, now, so BÜM party, good party, private business reception. What exactly is it, folks? If you know exactly what that is, put it in the chat. What? Those are all fancy names for what? Put it in chat. I want to see it in chat. Kim, I'm watching you. Don't do it. A home meeting. That's right. A home meeting. A home meeting. So we're talking about getting face-to-face, belly-to-belly with people, not relying 100% on technology, because it's a cool thing to get together with people from time to time. So Mark, I know you have some questions teed up to lead this conversation.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's start back at the beginning. And where do you start at the beginning other than building a big list? You've got to have a big list to build for a private business reception, good party, BÜM party, whatever you want to call this. And how do you build or create a big list? Sam and Kim, how do you create a big list?
Well, to start off, to create a big list, pull out your phones. Pull out your phones. You have a smartphone for a reason, right? You have a smartphone that alphabetizes all the names, all the numbers for you. So go from A to Z. Don't cherry pick any numbers. Don't say, hey, you know what? That's my enemy. Oh, I don't like that person. Put every single person down on your list. That's how you start creating your list. Then you do a memory jogger. And a memory jogger, back in the day, we said, hey, pull out a phone book, right? Or what you do is just, go on the internet and say, hey, okay, who's my realtor? Who's my dentist? Who's my chiropractor? Who's the boys soccer coach? So Joe, do a memory jogger. So that way you'll start remembering and putting people down on that list. How to add on to that list, because sometimes afterwards you go through your warm market, your hot market, your warm market, then you tap into your cold market. When you tap into your cold market, that's when you start building those relationships. When you're out at the at church, or you're maybe starting a book club or something like that, then you start creating and adding people to your list. The 3-foot rule. I mean, we've become really amazing at 3-foot rule. I mean, if you're breathing, then that means you're 3 foot away. You're able to talk and communicate, build relationships. You talked about the form technique on flight school not too long ago. Creating the form technique, family, occupation, relationships, and the message. So that's how you build the relationship. That's another part of the 3-foot rule, but just start putting people on your list every single day. You should come across some people and you're adding to your list constantly each and every day.
That's fire. That's fire. And I just have a follow-on question to that. So as we make this big list, right, we're going to get everybody. Are there any people in particular that should or should not be invited to a home meeting?
Well, you definitely have to categorize it. And part of your invite, you're doing, you're categorizing your prospects, your guests, and the 4 different categories referencing cash cow. Make sure you have your hands on your cash cow. It's 4 categories. That's if they're influential, if they are self-starters, if they're coachable, teachable, and trainable, and if they're financially set, meaning they're ready to get started, whatever package that it is. So you want to categorize those 4 steps. I know Mr. Tommy Johnson, Diamond Tommy Johnson, also put in the prospect list as well. That's on the iBoom Hub website. So check that out too. But those are the 4 categories that you want to definitely tap into and get your hands on that cash cow.
Nice. And that's all right here in the flight plan calendar.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. And you nailed that, Kim.
Nailed
How
it.
did you remember that?
Nailed it.
All right. Okay, so the next question is, and I'm going to ask this to Luis and Fernanda. How do you invite people to a good party or a BÜM party? How do you invite people?
Okay, good morning. When I invite the person for the good party, first yo entrego, ¿cómo se dice yo entrego? I give the opportunity. ¿Cómo se dice eso? Entregas, quitas la invitación. No, me traduces, por favor.
Hurry, show value, and take it away.
¿Sabes?
We can't hear you.
Dale, habla. Oh, she was saying that when she invites somebody, she applies the technique that Mr. Holdenbach taught us in also in the how do you call the cash cow? Thank you. When you take it away, you show value. I mean, and that way, when you're inviting, you don't. ¿Qué más decía? So she was saying that you have to give value, and that way, when you are doing the inviting, you don't have to push anybody into the. First of all, you when you do the first invitation, you have to show that you are in a hurry. You are in a hurry, and that way people don't have to be in the phone all the time. Remember that if you stay more than 2 minutes on the phone doing the invitation, it's too much. So you have to show the person that you are in a hurry, and then you have to show value, and then you have to take it away. And that way, people they understand that what you're giving or what you are saying has value, and that way the call is going to be precise. And like I was saying, if you take more than 2 minutes, the call is too long.
Yeah. So you guys were just up in Connecticut doing BÜM and good parties, right?
That's right.
How did they turn out?
Well, remember, this is very interesting because we only have 2 people in Connecticut working, and especially was one, Alejandro Molina and Lorena. They are the only 2 people working there, and between the 2 of them, they managed to have over 50 people at the event. And then we went to the Bronx, where we have a friend who owns a restaurant, and we have over 12 people having lunch with us, listening to the opportunity. And then we went to Long Island, where we have a friend who we asked if she can host a meeting, and we have over 15 people there as well. And this is what we do. For example, we had a friend in Long Island, and we just called her, listen, we're going to be expanding the opportunity that we're building in Long Island, and we would like to know if you want to host a meeting in your house. We're going to bring some beverage and something to eat, and you can also invite some friends. And we managed to have over 15 people in her house, and she's not in the business.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the power of your language. I want to make sure that everybody catches that, nobody misses that. He said, we are expanding. Say it again, Luis.
Yeah. Well, let's say our friend is Alexandra, right? We call her. She said, hey, Alex, we're going to be in New York. We're going to be in Long Island because we expanded the business opportunity we are building in New York. And we would like for you to host a meeting. By the way, I don't guarantee you that this could be for you. However, though, once you see it, you're probably gonna like it. But I would like for you to host the meeting. We're gonna bring some drinks, beverage, and something to eat. And if you like, you can invite some friends as well. And there's no pressure at all. She just opened up the house for us. We bring our friends, they bring their friends, and then we do the meeting. Very simple but powerful.
Yes.
Like in the restaurant in Bronx, we call my friend Cello. I said, Cello, we're gonna be in New York. I would like to have a nice table in your restaurant where we can accommodate between 10 to 15 people. Do you think that's possible? He said, yes, I'm gonna have the best table for you. And when we go to the restaurant, he has an area in the hotel that everyone sees. And we didn't even know that he's gonna have a projector there. And we just connect the computer. And when we were doing the presentation, the whole restaurant was watching. The entire restaurant was watching. So we not just presented the opportunity to those 12 people that came over to have lunch with us, but the entire restaurant. So people were coming to ask questions. What was it that we were presenting? And that's unbelievable.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Cool. So you had one in a living room. You had one meeting in a living room.
Yes.
And you had one event, or no, you had two events in living rooms, and then you had one event in a restaurant.
We had one event at the hotel in which we have over 50 people. Then the next event was in a restaurant. And then the third event, it was in a house, in a living room.
All right.
In different cities.
So, and where do you think is the best place to host a
Homes.
BÜM or good party?
A house. A house is the best.
Yeah.
Because people feel more comfortable. They don't feel like that they are in a different environment. And by the way, you create the environment that you wanted to create. People feel very comfortable. They feel like that they're in their house, and that can be very duplicatable, because if I do an event in a restaurant and I'm paying for lunch, or if I'm doing an event at a hotel and people see me that I'm paying for the room, they will not see themselves doing those things. But if they see me doing an event in a house, that could be very easy duplicatable. And from house to house, you can build a huge business. That's how we build, big organization like crazy, going from one house to another house. Because once we do the meeting, I always ask, hey, by the way, does anybody would like to have a meeting like the one we just had here in your house? And you won't believe how people are raising their hand. I would like to host a meeting in my house. And then the other person say, I would like to host a meeting in my house. And then the other person said, I would like to host a meeting in my house. And then you start documenting and take notes and scheduling those meetings that will be taking place. We broke a diamond in Los Angeles once. I went to do a meeting in a house. And once I presented the opportunity and people were signing up, I asked him, hey, who's going to be the next person who wants to host a meeting? And pretty much everyone said it. And we booked pretty much the whole month from that meeting. And that's how we broke a diamond there.
Wow.
That's where you get to be Oprah and say, you get a meeting, everybody gets a meeting.
Hashtag living rooms and dens. Hashtag living rooms and dens. So, all right. So what are the recommended days and times to do a BÜM or good party, Mr. Bean?
Every day, first of all, Monday through Friday, I would say about 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is a pretty good time for you to start your meetings, and then on weekends, about 1 o'clock. That way everybody gets a chance to get up, have breakfast, get themselves together, and then knock the meeting out, then get the rest of the day to themselves.
Yeah, that's on point. And just a follow-up question for you, Mr. Bean. So if someone invites a list of 50. About how many people are going to show up?
About 10 will show up, about 5 will sign up. But and this is how it works. When you have a list of 50, you're not going to be able to get everybody on the phone. So let's say you get about 40 on the phone. Let's say you get out of 40, you get 20 confirmations. Out of the 20 confirmations, you get 10 to show up. Out of the 10 to show up, you get about 5 to sign up. And everybody else goes back in the pipeline for you to follow up with. Yeah. That's if you're on point and on purpose with your invite, and you got posture, and you do everything you were supposed to. You're not, playing around with it. You're not taking maybes and yeses, and allowing people to, move you like the wind. You got to be on point. You got, inviting is a skill that you should not take lightly. And that's one of the things that you should teach people immediately when they get in, because what you'll find is that a lot of people will get in and they'll stick a script in a person's face, or they'll put them on a cash card, and they will just allow them to mess up their whole entire list. And once that list is gone, once you burn through your warm market doing it wrong, now you pretty much help that person ruin their opportunity. Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to make sure, one, put them in an environment where they're comfortable. I like to have people in calling parties, and a lot of people doing calling parties on Zoom now, where you can monitor what a person's saying and give them some good, feedback. And once that's done, you let them make 5 phone calls, right? Not more than 5. Let them make 5 phone calls. Once they make the 5 phone calls, you get back on the phone with them and ask them what were your results. If a person says, I got 5 for 5, you got a problem. Okay, nobody's that good. Okay, 5 for 5 means that person either is, a T-grade market card, Holtenberg, somebody with some influence, and they got everybody to sign up, or you got everybody to say, I'll show up, or you took maybes, I'll tries, possibly, let me get back to you, I'm quite sure I can. You took everything except for yeses. And so, again, if you got 1 or 2 out of 5, you did great. 5 out of 5, you got a problem.
Bro, that is major. I mean, that's old school, vintage Holtenbugs training right there. And I love the implementation of new technology that we did not have back in the day, to be able to inspect what you expect as you teach new people to invite. I love that suggestion to use Zoom to listen to a new person do their first 5 calls. I love it. I love it.
That is good. That is good. Okay, so the next question is how do you set up the environment for your good or boom party? How do you set up the environment? Anybody can take that. Yeah.
Okay.
Fernanda.
Okay. This is the principal thing for good results. The first is when you arrive on the home, on the hotel, or the whatever place, you need a relationship with the owner, the house, or the host, or the invitados. The guests. With the guests, you need a relation with these people, because you need have the information. Why reason they stay in this boom party? When you know the name, where are from, how, en cuál es el trabajo?
What they do.
What do work? ¿Qué espera? ¿Qué espera de la reunión?
What to expect from the meeting.
When you you make the presentation, you can the tools for speak the thing these people need air. Sí. Cuando tú llegas al boom party,
when you come to the party,
lo primero es relacionarse.
The first thing you have to do is to talk to people, to relate to
con los invitados,
with the guests,
con el dueño de la casa,
with the owner of the house,
y preguntar qué esperan,
and ask them what do they expect,
a qué se dedican,
what do they do for a
cuál
living,
es su nombre,
what's their name,
cosas de ellos.
Things that belongs to them.
Necesitas conocerlos.
You have to know them.
Y crear el ambiente de amistad.
And you have to create the environment of friendship.
Cuando ya vas al frente a presentar,
when you go and do the presentation,
ya se siente una amistad, una relación.
You feel like friends.
Y va a fluir toda la información.
And everything is going to flow.
Este negocio es de confianza.
This business is based on trust.
Si tú les caes bien a los invitados,
and if they trust you,
si tú les caes bien,
if they trust you,
ellos se van a registrar.
They will register.
ellos van a unirse a tu equipo.
They're going to join you.
Nadie hace negocios con alguien que no le gusta.
Nobody does business with somebody who don't like. So
Entonces,
the guests have to like you.
Es lo primero que tienes que
That's the
hacer.
very first thing you do. And I'm going to add to that. It's always good. And it's always good to be there on time, early. I always say be on time is being late, because if you're on time, you're already late. But you have to go there early. And when people start coming in, you get the opportunity to get to know them very close. So when the time comes to do the presentation, you know their names, you know what they do, you know what they like, and based on what you heard from their conversation previous to the meeting, now your meeting is based on that. And when I'm presenting the business, like I was talking to Mr. Mark, and he said he loves going to work, but I cannot relate to that. I used to live in New York, and in the winter, I didn't like to wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, clean my car, and it was so much snow. And then I went back to home. I went to my room, take a shower. When I came out of the car was full of snow again. I didn't like those things. I don't know who can relate to that. And then based on that, man, by the time you finish your meeting, it's not only a powerful meeting, but you relate it to people. And when people relate to you, or you relate to people, that's when it becomes that connection, and people will join.
Okay.
I want us to breathe for a second. Let's breathe for a second, because what Fernanda and Luis just went over is crucial to your success. What they just described is how you turn a room full of strangers into a room full of friends, right? Because it's really hard to get great results when you're presenting to a room full of strangers. But what Fernanda started us down the path of, and Luis helped us finish it, is how you take those strangers and you make them into friends. The presentation is totally different. The environment and the vibe is totally different if you take the time to do what Fernanda said: go around the room, shake hands, connect with people, ask them who they are, ask them their name, ask them what they do, ask them what their expectation is, all that stuff. So I want to make sure you put that in your notes, everybody, because that is one of the biggest secrets of success that we were all taught. And it's the reason why Luis and Fernanda went to the East Coast, and they were filling the diamond chat with this many new ambassadors, this many new customers everywhere they went, because they made friends before they got down to business.
All right. So the other thing too is we do have how to set up the environment in the flight plan calendar. Yeah, it gives you all the different information that you need. All right. Okay.
That's good. That's good.
So
all right. So now that we've made this room into a room of friends, let's go back to the beans and let's just talk about presenting, right? Because I guess what I really want to ask you guys is, what are the different ways that you can do the presentation at a BÜM party or good party, AKA a home meeting, and who should do the different ways?
I'm sorry, what was the last question?
So what are the different ways that you can present, and who should do those different ways?
Who should do? Okay. Oh, well, I could start off, and then you could add on to it too. There's you do the regular presentations with the slides. We also have done presentations with the I Decide presentations as well. For those that have never presented before, we suggest just doing the I Decide presentation. The I Decide presentation sums it all up in a nutshell. And so you eliminate the fear of, hey, I've never done this before. You eliminate the fear of, I don't know the facts and figures. You don't have to know the facts and figures. You let the I Decide do the presentation for you. Our first 30 days of introducing this business to people, we didn't know, even us at the level of leadership that we're at, we didn't know how to do the presentation. We didn't want to mess it up. So we shared the I Decide presentation and enrolled over 75 people just with the I Decide presentation. So you putting people in the room and sharing the I Decide presentation. You don't have to worry about all eyes on me. What if I say the wrong thing? You can't say the wrong thing. And then when it comes to the presentation, you point and you read when it comes to the presentation. Sam, you want to add on to that?
You pretty much did a great job, but that I Decide, guys, when T. Ray and I and Mark and HB were back in the day, we had push power, push play. And I'm just telling you right now, guys, that was, matter of fact, HB had it down to a science to where, he had certain hours where you push power, push play all through the day, and he would have a certain hour or two a day where he would come on and do like this massive three-way or massive lifeline, like three-way, where he's coming in, you edified him after you did push power, push play, and he would just talk to the whole entire audience globally, and people would just fall into the business, and that was amazing. And then you look at I Decide. I Decide is today's version of push power, push play. And, in the first 30 days, guys, because some of you guys are really sleeping on the I Decide. When you look at what Johnny Wimby says, he says, get out of the way and let the, I Decide do the job for you. Let the system do the job for you. When we first got started, guys, our team wasn't allowed to do a real presentation, a flip chart or a slide presentation. They were not allowed. Neither was I. And the one thing we did, the reason why we did that was because we wanted to show people that you can do this with the I Decide. My wife and I put 76 people in business with the I Decide. Our team put 1,800 people in 7 levels, 1,804 people to be exact, in 7 levels in the first 30 days with the I Decide. Okay, and that was globally. We didn't do a presentation. We went diamond and broke a diamond. You guys, you got to understand how powerful this is. We went diamond and broke a diamond in a slew of sapphires and rubies and stuff like that with just the I Decide. But you have to edify the I Decide. It's one of those things, you don't just add water and say, hey, watch this. No, you speak about it as if Holton Buggs himself is about to do the presentation. You edify it. You really put a person in a position where they think that this is about to be the most exhilarating 7 to 10 minutes of their life. And if they miss it, they won't. If they miss this, they'll have nightmares, right? Literally. That's you have to give extreme value to something that could produce extreme value. Simplicity is the key. Duplication is the key. And now you'll find we actually did it in the hotel rooms as well, not just in the living rooms. I literally, my very first event in St. Louis with Pastor Marlon Bailey and Joe Corn, all those guys, guess what? I Decide in front of the room. In Minnesota, first event, I Decide in front of the room. 150 people, I Decide in front of the room. And you'll get good, guys, at doing actual presentations if you just do the I Decide, and then after every pause, let the audience answer the questions, and then you have a bullet point or a nugget that you stole from one of these diamonds to go with that slide, right? That's why you watch the presentations that they're doing every day, so you can insert a comment or a nugget in different parts of the I Decide presentations. It doesn't matter whether it's Elevate or whether it's Ibüümerang, I Decide. Guys, that's the perfect presentation because it's done the same exact way every single time, right?
Okay. So Beans, we are going to book the two of you to come back on Flight School in the near future, within the next few weeks. And that's what we want you to teach everybody, how to present using the I Decide. Right? You guys will just break it down and just teach everybody how to do it, because what you said is powerful. I want to make sure people didn't miss it. You personally enrolled 76 people using the I Decide presentation, and your team collectively enrolled 1,804 people down through 7 levels using the I Decide. And that's something that everybody can do. That's infinitely duplicatable. So that's, you got me flabbergasted over here.
That's hard.
Pulling out my vocabulary words, Kim. Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted.
All right. So how long should a good or boom party be?
It should be about 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half if you're Holton Bugs. On average, probably about an hour to hour and a half, just to come in and like share what Ms. Fernanda had shared, to, you know, build the relationship, to connect, to do the presentation for about 30 minutes, and then wrap it up from there with a 30 to 45 minutes, and then wrap it up with closing out the room and answering any questions that they may have and filling out the paperwork.
All right.
One thing I do want to add, when we were talking about, and I hope we have a couple of extra minutes here. What I wanted to talk about as far as like building that relationship and connecting and stepping into the room. Before you want to do that, you want to speak to the individuals that are doing the invite, that are actually hosting the event and creating the environment in that living room. And that's before all the guests comes, that's before the speaker comes, and that's creating that environment. Make sure the home is clean, make sure the home is welcoming, make sure you're not pulling out a whole bunch of chairs and tables and having a whole bunch of festivity food, like, you know, cooking a home meal. It's okay to have snacks, like maybe cookies and maybe little brownies, something like that. Some water, you know, maybe some coffee. And make sure that the environment is cold. The reason why we want the environment is cold, and this is very similar to hotel rooms too. When you're doing events, make sure that the environment is cold. If the environment is cold, people won't go to sleep. There's a method to the madness. Have notepads around, have pens around, so that way you could put these notepads and pens into people's hands, so that way they could start taking notes, because now you're starting to educate them on making sure they're doing the right thing. And once they definitely get started, I wanted to put that plug in. But yes, about an hour to an hour and a half max.
No, Mrs. Bean, that is not a plug. That was major detail that everybody needed to hear, right? Because we were taught that if you serve a feast, you will actually work against you, because people won't join the business because they think that that's what they have to do,
Right,
when
it's
it's
not
their turn to host it, right? So you got to keep it light, right? And then the whole thing about keeping it cool, major, because if it's warm, people are going to go to sleep. Like right now, I've got it cold in my office, so I stay up.
And also, it's very important not to have too many chairs in the room or in the house.
Right.
For example, in Connecticut, they have so many chairs in the room. And one of the first things I told her, hey, listen, let's move half of the chairs, because it's too many. If people don't show up, if one person show up and say, wow, a lot of people didn't show up. So we removed 50% of the chairs. And what happened is, I told them, as soon as we fill this part and people keep coming in, we're gonna be adding more chairs. And that's exactly how it happened. People came in, we added more chairs, and people were surprised. Wow, you guys have more people than what you were expecting.
Luis, it's very important that que si tú eres líder,
It's very important that if you are the leader,
vayas con tu equipo
go with your team
a enseñarle
to teach them
las cosas.
the things.
A veces estamos muy cómodos en la casa,
Sometimes we are so comfortable
En
being
el
at
Zoom.
home doing it Zoom presentations,
pero en el campo
but in the field,
es donde se enseña.
it's what you.
Yo los invito a todos a que salgan de sus
I
casas
challenge all of you to get out of your house
y vayan al campo a trabajar.
and go to the field and work.
This is the best. This is the best. This is the best. Mark is holding up the flight plan calendar because it's like everybody's reading from it, right?
It's in there.
It's
It's
all
in
of
there.
Flight calendar. So if you can't listen and absorb everything that we're sharing, go to the store and get your flight calendar, which you should already have it anyway.
Yeah. And this is the other thing about edification. If you really remember, the people sign up before the presentation starts, right? And so when you have people who are coming to your house for a presentation, one, you've already done the edification, to get them there. Two, the edification heightens, when they start to arrive, because if you have a driveway, you should probably have a cone out for the speaker.
Yeah.
So that's one. Two, when they arrive, you should walk out and meet them at the car and walk them in. Three, when they get in, I used to have like a little green room, an extra room in the house where they can get in, collect themselves, because I like to pray before I speak. And so I like to have a moment to get myself together, collect my thoughts, do my affirmation. And so then when I come back out to the room, I can meet and greet everybody. The other thing is you want to let the speaker know who's in the room and what the occupations are. So now when they can actually start to do the presentation will be one that's created around the people in the room. So you won't just be talking at people, you'll be talking to people. And when you know their names, the backgrounds, and what they do for a living, you can use them for different scenarios. And when you call somebody's name out in the presentation and you look and you say, hey, Mark, and Mark, so if Mark does this, and Mark's like, how do you know my name? So now it's a personal situation that's going on. But again, every little thing that you pay attention to, all these nuances will make you millions of dollars, but every mistake that you make will cost you millions.
Oh, true.
You guys are making a difference today. You are. Nestor Bissett just put in the chat, I confess that I have a flight plan calendar that's not being used, and that will change today. Thank you. I mean, these tips that you guys are giving, I can't keep up. I mean, they're just major. Like there was one did you guys catch this one? Ladies and gentlemen, did you catch this particular one? The cone to reserve the parking space for the speaker.
Yeah, you don't want to have your speaker walking them from around the corner, man. And first of all, when they see that cone, who's that cone there for? Mom, that's not, you can't park there, Mom. That's for Mr. Wimber. Mom, you can't park there, Mom. Hey, that's for Mrs. Ernest. That's for Mrs. Fernando. Mom, Uncle Pete. That's for Jose. Or that's for whoever it is, bro. You can't park there.
And then here's another one. Because you guys went rapid fire. Another one. Luis with the chairs, right? Mm-hmm. You can always tell when a diamond is on deck because diamonds have the courage to walk into a room that has too many chairs and say, hey, take up half of these chairs, right? I love it. I love it.
And one more tip is the edification. There's different ways we can edify our leaders. One is by saying the things that they have accomplished. Another thing is by showing, you don't have to say anything. When the leader comes into the room, the very first thing you go and grab whatever he's carrying or she's carrying, you take it away from them. Another way to show edification is I bring a glass of water or bottle of water to the speaker. And when people see that you're treating your leader that way, you don't have to say anything. Just by bringing the water, just by carrying the things for them, it will demonstrate more than when you say, let your actions speak louder than your words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For some people, Luis, what you guys are all teaching right now, for so many people, this is the reason they joined Ibüümerang, because they heard about the success that our CEO and founder, Holton Buggs, has been able to create over the past couple of decades. And he's earned the accolade of being the greatest culture builder in this industry. And people don't realize that it's all these little things that we were taught that add up to this phenomenal success. Like that, what you just said, when the speaker arrives, grab their bag, grab her bag, grab his bag. Show them honor, bring them a glass of water or a bottle of water while they're talking.
Yeah,
you have, and also when it comes to putting the posture in the right place and the value in the right place, because some of you believe that the people who are coming to your house is more important to the person in front of the room. So when you actually have a speaker and that thing starts and you introduce, the speaker and you set the tone and you put that person in a position where now you've created that bridge, which is your job. You're connecting them and giving them a reason to listen to the actual speaker. What you do is you sit down off to the front, but to the side, so they can see you, take notes, because you're now teaching them how to behave at the event at the same exact time. Turn your phone off, your ringer off, your vibration is on. So if somebody shows up, then they know how to get there. They're not the priority if they're late. Okay, if they show up, go open the door and go sit back down. Right, guys. Don't be hovering around the room, walking around the room, looking like you're waiting for people who ain't there and distracting everybody who is, right? Sit down in front of the room, take notes, be attentive, right? And then if somebody shows up, then you go open the door. If not, don't be calling people while the presentation is going on, looking desperate. right? I don't care if you got one person in the room with 4 chairs, you sit right next to the person and you watch the presentation like it's your person.
Mr. Tigray, una de las cosas, estuvimos el fin de semana con un líder de la industria.
Well, one of the things this past week we were with the leader of the industry this past week in New York.
Y nos decía que los eventos que hacemos como Ibüümerang y bajo el liderazgo de Mr. Holton Box,
And he was telling us that the events that we do with Mr. Holton Box,
no los había encontrado en ninguna otra
he
compañía.
hasn't found in any other company.
Y la gente quiere eso.
And people want those things.
Así que tenemos muchas cosas. Tenemos lo principal, que es el liderazgo,
So we have so many things, but we have the most important thing, which is the leadership,
bajo el principio de LUE
under the principle of Lu,
y bajo el principio de edificación.
and under the principle of edification.
Los principios siempre van a estar, por eso se llaman principios.
The principle will always be there. That's why they call principle.
Eso va a traer a la gente.
That will
Siempre.
bring people always.
Sigue sus principios siempre.
Just follow those principles.
Wow. You know, Fernanda, you are so correct. I was thinking, as you were just speaking, that we need to do another panel. And the topic of that panel needs to be the edification culture. That's what you were just talking about. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, we talked about that in
I
Dubai.
agree.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Dubai, because you have a lot of people who, you know, they went back there in the 3KMG days, and everything that we did, we set ourselves aside from everybody else. And like Mr. Bugs, he was the number 3 earner in that company that we all met in, but he controlled 60% of the volume, and his volume was more stable and secure than everybody else's, based on the fact that everybody was on the same page. Everybody knew what to expect, and everybody knew what the play was, right? And so that culture is crucial. It's crucial.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I hope everybody's taking pages and pages of notes. And if you filled up your notebook with notes, today we want you to take a picture of your notes and put it on your Instagram, on your story, and tag Ibüümerang.
All right. Okay. So we've got people started in the business. What is the next step? What do you do with those folks that get started in the business? Anybody can answer.
Go ahead, Luis. You got the most success, recent success. Go ahead.
Well, within the next 48 hours, I will have them to book their first meeting. One of the things that Mr. Holton taught us is to book 4 meetings for those people who are just joining the business, because we're going to teach them. We're going to teach them a few things. First of all, how to do a home party. So we're going to book 4 meetings for them, and we're going to teach them to have at least 5 people in that meeting. And what we're going to try to do is to get 1,000 points in every meeting. So if we do 4 meetings a week, and that's going to be 4,000 points. If we do it that in the home, if you work with, let's say if you're working with 4 new people. So I'm working with Fernanda, Mr. Mark, Mr. Tigray, and Mr. Sambin, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do 4 meetings with each of them per month, and I get 1,000 points, which each one of them, I'm going to be doing 16,000 points in that particular month. So I can go Sapphire just working with 4 people, doing 4 meetings a month with them. So the most important thing is teach them how to book 4 meetings, teach them how to have minimum 5 guests in every meeting. And the goal will be to do 1,000 points per meeting. 1,000 points per meeting. If we all do that, the growth that we're going to have as a company is going to be crazy. If we start this week, all doing 1 meeting at least, or 4 meetings, the growth that we're going to have, it will be explosive. So every single month we will be breaking diamonds.
Wow.
Another thing is that you gotta manage the expectations, outside of, because that's the stuff when you talk about setting up the meetings, crucial, because, one, that's going to get them in profitability right away. 1, 2, that's going to make sure that they can now blueprint their income and also blueprint and design their rank. But when you talk about the expectations, they got to know that, again, there's some things that you must do, like flight school. I have my millionaire mindset call on Monday nights, but I tell them, I say, guys, there are two things that are non-optional. If you're gonna have any communication with me, any kind of connection with me, is this call and Saturday. Saturday is where you get everything that you need. You're basically a shareholder at this point in time. So you need to be there with all other owners. One, two, you want to make sure you do lifelines. Those lifelines are huge, guys, because you got the negative people that are out there that have either failed in network marketing or know somebody that failed in network marketing, or they're just not courageous enough to go out there and do something to be successful like this. They want to steal that person's dream. And you get them on the phone with as many people as possible that have actually succeeded, especially the people who are going to help them. And so that's cute, because that's going to give them the confidence that they're in the right place in the right time with the right people, right? And then if they don't get started, bam, family, book them to another meeting, right? Book them to another meeting, give them to another exposure, get them on the phone with somebody else, right? Send them some more testimonials, right? Keep them in the pipeline, keep them in the flow of things. But when they get started, guys, they're your responsibility. They're your responsibility. You will have to do everything that's required, right, to make sure that they are successful. Okay? Even if you're brand new, as if like you said, you have babies who have babies, it's the same thing here. You may be just getting started yesterday and sign somebody up today. It's not your leader's job to make sure that person's successful. It's yours. That's why you have to be in places like this to learn the things that you need to learn, so you can teach them the things they need to know.
Wow. Hey, we're starting to get audience questions. You guys have everybody fired up. So here is a question from Sarah Bakary on Facebook. And you guys have at this one. What do you tell the guests about the party in the invitation? What is the gathering about?
No les digo de qué se trata.
I don't tell them what it is.
Mientras menos hable, mejor.
While you speak less, it's better.
Solo le dices que tienes algo grande que quieres que participe.
You just tell them that you have something big that you want them to participate.
Y quizás califique, quizás no.
And maybe they will qualify, maybe not.
Pero no quieres dejarla afuera o afuera.
You don't want to leave them behind.
Pero tiene que estar a las 7 de la noche en tu casa.
But she has to be on time there at 7 o'clock at the house.
¿Vienes o no vienes?
Are you coming or not?
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. And there's another caveat to that as well. And I love everything she said, but the other thing is this: if you know something about that person that they are looking for, that they're lacking in their life, we always said, make sure that Ibüümerang solves a problem for that person. Okay. And so you ask questions. Are you still trying to fire your boss? Are you still trying to put your kids through college? Are you still trying to fire your wife's boss? Yeah. Okay, well, great. You need to be here. You got to give them a reason, like Mr. Bug says, the bartering system. You give me your time, I'll give you your solution. Okay. What is it on your schedule that you need to move around? You start asking posture questions, and it's because this is real, for me, it's like, you have all these people who will talk to you about different things, what ails them in their life. But when you say, hey, real quick, got something going on Thursday night or Wednesday night or Saturday morning, are you still looking for something to replace, your job or something to supplement your income? Yeah, great. You need to be with me. Don't give them an option. Don't ask them questions, right? Tell them where they need to be, impose your will on them, because you have their answer to their problem. Impose your will on them. They need you to. People are used to being told what to do, like on your job, right? When they say, when you're on break, they say, get back to work. You go run back to work. Or they say, clock in, you clock in. You don't do nothing until somebody imposes their will on you, right? You need to impose your will on people because they don't know what to do and how to be successful.
It's been so long since I've heard that. Impose your will. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. All right. So for those that do not get started on the spot, what should they become?
They should become customers right there. One of the things that I love about Ibüümerang and the things that we do right now is that we have option for everyone.
Yeah.
I present the opportunity. Some people will join as ambassadors. If they don't join as ambassadors, they will become my customers. It's very
Scan the code.
It's very easy. And
And you know what? This is the first time in all of these years, over a decade and a half of being in this industry, that we could literally say that everybody's going to join your business. They're either going to join as a business partner or a consumer or a customer. And we haven't had that in the past. So that's something that we really need to take a hold on and take advantage of, because in the past, it was either you get started on whatever package, you might have to convince them to get the products. And here, you don't have to convince them. All you have to do is scan the code, like Mr. Kit Cart said, scan the code, they're now a consumer on different verticals. And that's where the PRIB comes in at. So this is like a phenomenal opportunity that everybody can't lose. You have to win in this.
All right.
And one more thing I want to add to what we are saying. Once people realize that they have the power to let somebody else get the power, they're going to become very powerful. Let me explain that. I know that I had the power to help people make certain amount of money. I cannot guarantee you how much money they're going to make, but I was given an opportunity to make millions of dollars in the industry. If I wasn't given that opportunity, or if the person wasn't giving me that opportunity, or if that person had not invited me to that opportunity that I went and saw Mr. Holdenbach that day, I wouldn't be here today. So we have the power to empower so many people's life, literally, or every single day. And that takes you the stress that you have to look for people. Actually, we're going to get to a point that people will look for us. People will look for you. And you have to remember that it's going to be a moment in time that you will not have to look for people. People will be looking for you because of what you have and because of what you have become.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
So if somebody did not get started, they became a customer, what do you do? How do you follow up and follow through with that person?
El cliente depende, no necesita seguimiento. Oh, yeah.
What I will do is I will set up a three-way call with my upline. That would be the best. Do a three-way call with my upline, and I will invite the person for the next event.
Bam, fam.
Yes. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Oh, I was just saying, bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. After this event and they didn't make a decision, that just means that they didn't make a decision right now. That's not a no, that's they did not make a decision right now. So then you book another meeting, what we call bam, fam from the cash cow, book a meeting from a meeting. What's the next event? And whatever the next event is, that's the event that you invite them to. And you edify the event by particularly edifying the leaders for your invite.
Yo he aprendido algo.
I've learned something.
Y es que en el seguimiento está la fortuna.
And what I have learned is that the fortune is in the follow-up.
Entonces, es lo que más debemos trabajar.
It's what we have to work the most.
Porque es lo más como, no difícil, pero lo que más nos va a llevar como paciencia.
Probably that's one of the most difficult things to do, and you have to have passion to do that.
Entonces, es muy importante que le dé seguimiento correcto a esa persona que no se registró.
And it's very important that you follow up correctly to that person who did not join the business that day.
Luis me enseñó una vez.
Luis told me once
que él llamaba muchas veces a sus prospectos.
That I called my prospect all the time.
Y le preguntó una vez, ¿tú quieres que te siga llamando o no quieres que te llame más?
And I asked him once, do you want me to keep calling you or you don't want me to call you anymore?
Tú tienes que conseguir o un sí o un no.
You have to get a yes or a no from the prospect.
Hasta que no te diga no, no le dejas.
While that person says no, you keep calling them or following up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on Saturday in Connecticut, we did a meeting that we had a guest. He did not sign up, and I invited him. Hey, listen, by the way, we're going to be in the Bronx tomorrow. We're going to be having a nice lunch, and we're going to meet another friends. I invite you to come. And the guy came in,
And then that day he joined the business.
Wow. Wow. That's bam fam at work, right? And
Exactly.
that meeting that you can send a person to can be like Luis just said, Diamond Luis just said, another presentation that's about to happen. And look, Luis, this is why he's a diamond. He invited him to a presentation the very next day. This is a person who didn't join. Come to the presentation we're doing tomorrow. Also, it could be the very next Zoom presentation. And guess what? Here's another trick. It could be a recorded Zoom presentation, right? We've always taught, keep the link to some fire presentations. When these diamonds do a presentation, when it's their turn comes up, grab the link, keep it in the notes on your phone. So when a person says, okay, well, I need to think about it, whatever, blah, 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 you can say, great, you know what, you need to watch this, and send them that link right there and then. Text it to them in their phone. Watch this. This is going to help you, right? So many different things that you can do. Who's got writer's cramp? Anybody out there take so many notes today? You got writer's cramp? If you got writer's cramp, put some 8s in the chat. If you took a lot of notes, put some 8s in the chat. Look at that. Diamonds, you are blessing the people today. You have inspired Mark and I. We are inspired right now. And I hope you've inspired the people to get out there and do what we're talking about here today. So how about we wrap this up? Let's go from looking at the screen right to left. And let's have a parting word, a wrap-up word from each one of you. So, Diamond Fernanda, what advice do you have for the people as we close out today?
Okay. La carrera de liderazgo
The career of leadership
es hermosa.
is very beautiful.
Puedes impactar la vida de las
You
personas
can impact people's lives
de la manera que tú no te imaginas,
in a way that you cannot imagine yet.
pero se necesita un trabajo.
But you have to work.
Se necesita tener esa pasión,
You have to have passion,
porque no todo es dinero.
because not everything is
El
money.
dinero es consecuencia de lo que tú das.
Money is a consequence of what you do or what you give.
Y a mí la carrera de liderazgo, cuando te conviertes en un diamante,
And for me, the leadership career, when you become a diamond,
me ha dado las mayores satisfacciones de mi vida.
it has given me the greatest satisfactions in my
Y es
life.
lo que quiero para todos ustedes.
And that's what I want for all of you.
Por eso estoy aquí,
That's why I'm here today,
compartiéndote lo que hacemos
sharing what we do
todos los días.
every day.
Nuestro 90% del tiempo del día
99% of the day,
lo hacemos para ustedes.
what
Trabajamos
we
el
do,
boomerang.
we work the business for you guys.
Así que vamos a darle a salir, a presentar y a poner en práctica
So,
lo que has aprendido hoy.
Let's get out, put in practice what we learned today. For
Awesome.
me, I like to have fun. I do this business because I like the things that I can do. I can travel the world, I can educate people, and while I'm doing those things, I make money. For example, when I meet a person, one of the first things I ask him, what do you do for a living, and all those things, right? And because I know I'm going to count to 9. Once they answer the question, they're going to ask me the same thing. And my answer is, listen, I travel the world and I educate people and how to make money right from the phone. And then all of a sudden I said, do you know anybody who would like to learn how to make money from their phone? I don't ask them, do you want to make money from their phone? I said, I travel the world, I educate people how to make money from their phone. And do you know anybody who would like to learn how to make money from their phone? And guess what? Everyone says, I would like to make money from the phone. And we enjoy what we do. We like what we do because we know that every time we had the opportunity to impact somebody's life, like we were impacted once.
Awesome. All right, I got 3 things. First of all, number 1, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys came from the Holton Bug School of Network Marketing, and we gave it to the folks today. And we need to do more of these trainings. And we need to get, all kinds of different, we could cover the edification triangle, we can cover all kinds of things. So with the diamonds, we need to get these trainings going. The other thing too is Jelani Tarek says people pay for this kind of information. Yes, they do, Jelani. Yes, they do. And the last thing I want to say is when you're wrapping up and everybody is there at the good party, the boom party, whatever it is, a one-on-one, a two-on-one, you need to let them know about flight school. Get them on flight school. So again, great information. Thank you for being on today.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's go to Diamond Sam Bean.
Are you not gonna go, Tigger? No, I'm just kidding. Guys, when you look at this industry, the people who make the most money were the people who mastered the boring and the mundane. Okay. And when you look at going through this process, you want to make sure that you don't tweak anything along the way because you get bored or because you're in the business of being an entertainer, because most of your group they're in the business of being entertained. And if it's not brand new, if it's not profound, they kind of lose themselves. But you can't allow yourself to get caught up in their madness. Okay, you have to learn this system. You have to go ahead and master this thing. And at some point in time, you become the most interesting man or woman in the world. You live the lifestyle that they wish that they had because you're going to do the things that they wish they would have did. You know, when we were at Accelerate, Action, when I talked about the culture guys and Mark and them made those beautiful slides, and I'm still fascinated about those slides. It was always about, what was done before me that worked, and my responsibility to the people who came after me. You have to take responsibility, and that means that you got to do it the way it's been designed, not the way that you desire. Because, like Mr. Bug says, if he put his brain in your head and you put your brain in his head, and you use each other's thoughts and systems, who will make more money? Okay, his system will make you more money. Okay, and so do his system the way he designed it.
Major. Oh.
We can't hear you, darling.
Boom. I guess it's my turn. Okay, great.
Yes.
We've been blessed to be in the industry for quite some time under the leadership of Mr. and Mrs. Bugs, and we're very grateful and thankful for that. Not everybody are blessed to be under their tutelage and leadership. We haven't been able, we're blessed to not stray away because everything rises and falls on leadership. And as long as you properly edify the leadership, the system, that's where it's at. That's where your money is at, right there. And you edify the platform too, the Ibüümerang, because some people don't understand that sometimes they walk out those doors and they de-edify their business by just the way they look, by just the way they're representing themselves, by the way they open their mouth and speak. So you're always constantly a billboard for your business. And I want to mention this, and this is to finalize things and wrap it up on my end, is to give people hope. In this industry, we've been in this business for quite some time now. When we started this industry, we were broker than broke. We were going through foreclosure, repossessed, 2-vehicle repossession, 6 months pregnant. The list goes on and on, electricity being on and off. One thing I can be proud to say is this industry works. And this industry works because of the leaders. Back to everything rises and falls on the leadership, because the system, the leaders have put the system in place, the resources. We didn't have access to this type of corporate staff. We didn't have access to the resource, to the marketing, to the things that we have in place, the tools, the iDecide, so on and so forth, the flight school calendars, flight school itself. We didn't have access to that. You do. So we've paved the way. All you have to do is just get onto that path. And as long as you get onto that path, you could win. You could definitely win. Being in this industry for this long, I personally have been retired and haven't worked for anyone in over 13 years. That's because we followed the system. That's because we followed the LU, loyalty, unity, and edification. And if you just follow the system, when you follow the system, you could be there too. I never believed that I could ever be free from a job. We gave that job back to the economy, and here we are today. You too could be in that position. No income claims, no disclaimer. I mean, put up the disclaimer. We're not saying that you will be there too, but you could definitely follow the steps to get there based off of your dreams, your goals, and what you're wanting to accomplish. So we're here to share our stories, share our testimonies, share what we did, so you too could win right here in Ibüümerang.
Boom. That was major.
Mr. Ray, last thing, la última cosa, cuando empecé la carrera de network
The
marketing,
last thing, when I started my network marketing career,
yo admiro tanto a Kim con Sam.
I admire so much Kim and Sunbeam.
Yo lo veía, estaba sentada en el público
I was sitting in the back in the public.
y hablaba con ese poder que acaba de hablar.
And when I heard she speaking with the power that she just did it today,
Yo decía, pronto voy a estar sentada junto a ella.
and I used to say to myself, very soon I'll be sitting next to her.
Era Zafiro.
And I was a sapphire.
Y miren ahora,
And look at this today.
estoy aquí con mis grandes líderes.
I'm here sitting today with my great
Y,
leaders.
y lo mismo puede pasar contigo.
And the same thing can happen to you.
Puedes estar aquí.
You can be here, right here,
Perfect.
Compartiendo tu historia
sharing your story
con la persona que más admiras.
with the people or the person you most admire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is amazing, Fernanda. Wow. Thank you for breaking through to share that. Oh man.